guys, what's up? Killjoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I like scary movies. They should cast me as Ghostface in the next movie, guys, I'm just saying. Today we're going to be talking about Scream 5, a little bit of an update, kind of going to go over some of the stuff we know, and we're going to speculate on what the hell is going to happen in this new movie. But first, I'm going to need you guys to like this video and subscribe to Killjoy Jake for more horror content. Alright, now let's get into it. So it's been a couple months since Scream 5 has been confirmed. The Spyglass Media Company recently partnered up with Lantern Entertainment, which also owns Dimension. So now that they have that library, they're thinking about remaking Scream. Now IMDb says it's a reboot specifically, so I'm speculating that it won't just continue the story with Sidney Prescott, but instead have new characters facing against a Ghostface slasher of sorts. Now with that being said, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, and David Arquette were apparently all asked to return for a 5th installment, but suspiciously both Campbell and Arquette both said in later interviews that they have not been contacted yet, which is sort of odd. Kevin Williamson, who wrote 3 of the 4 films, is probably going to direct this film, but nothing's for sure. Now, unfortunately, Wes Craven passed away in 2015. R.I.P. you horror god. That guy's responsible for so many horror franchises and a lot of just some of the big stuff in horror. Last House on the Left, The Hills Have Eyes, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream. I mean, he's done like basically a lot of the most important horror franchises just of all time. So someone needs to fill the director's chair. Now, Kevin Williamson, who wrote 3 of the 4 Scream films, is set to direct probably. It's speculation, nothing is for sure yet, but that's who I'm assuming is gonna do it. I'm speculating we get a 2021 release, because we're kinda in the same situation we were in about 10 years ago when Scream 4 was announced. It was basically announced and then there was this weird, awkward, what the fuck is going on period, and then suddenly, boom, Scream 4 came out. So I'm hoping it's something like that. It's kind of like a secret, you're not really sure it's going on, and then bam, Scream 4, okay, cool. It was, you know, mildly underwhelming, but that's okay, it's still better than the disaster that Scream 3 was. Now let's talk about plot stuff, because this movie needs a reason to exist. Scream is notable for making fun of the current horror scene. For example, in the mid-90s, horror was dying. It became so predictable and nobody was really into the slasher films anymore because they were just so formulaic. So Scream came out and decided to capitalize on that very idea. It was meta, it was fun, and most importantly, it was cool. So a shit ton of franchises came after that basically just copied the hell out of it. I hope that if Scream 5 comes out, they start to make fun of like the remakes that everyone just basically hates, that nobody really likes, and they just kind of suck. With a few exceptions, of course. I think since this one is kind of a soft reboot, that would kind of be appropriate and kind of interesting because I love the whole meta view that this series has, so I just hope it doesn't lose that with this Scream 5. All of the movies kind of do that pretty well, even Scream 3. I gotta hand it to that film, even though it's kind of a disaster. It does do the meta thing pretty good. So hopefully hopefully we can get a movie that kind of draws into what all the fans are saying about just horror fans in general to any series, that why are all these remakes happening? Why don't they just make continuations like Halloween or the Candyman movie that's coming out? But here's the thing about a reboot. This series, Scream 4 barely has a reason to exist, and I think if this film comes out, you gotta take a risk. You gotta take a big risk, and here's what I'm thinking. This is gonna be kind of controversial, so I'm not gonna lie. You might want to get prepared for this one. I think they should make Sidney Prescott the killer. Now, let's say they do what I just said, and they're gonna have a whole new cast of characters. Nothing's confirmed yet, but let's say they do that. Whole new cast of just young, attractive teens, because you know that's how every slasher movie's gotta be. And let's just say that Neve Campbell, David Arquette, Courtney Cox, they all have like featured roles in this film. They're not the main cast of this movie. Now, the whole time, let's say our characters are trying to figure out who is the Ghostface Killer this time around, what is going on, why is everybody dying, why is Sidney not being chased after, why is she not being attacked or anything like that. Then they find out in the climax of the film, Sidney is the killer. I think that would be super interesting. It would give this whole series a whole new, just a different angle from everything that's been going on. Making your protagonist through these whole films turn into the bad guy in this, I think that would bring a whole new breath of fresh air into this film, considering that they also want to make this a whole new trilogy of Scream films as well. You could have a whole series where Sidney is the villain this time around. I think that would be super fucking cool. It would also add to the very short list of female slashers, which I think is very very progressive and innovative. So what do you guys think? Do you think the series died with Scream 4, or do you think we could use a Scream 5? Tell me in the comments below. I love hearing what you guys have to say, and also if I made any mistakes in this video. I know there's been a lot of corrections lately, like I said some things about the thing that weren't exactly 100% right. Thank you guys so much for watching my video on Scream 5. Please like this video and subscribe to Killjoy Jake for all that horror content, and it also makes me happy and I stop crying at night, so that's a positive thing. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at KilljoyJake1 and now on Instagram at Killjoy_Jake. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.